I'm going through changes. Brown, brown, brown. I'm going through changes. Give me a minute. I might have to put it on the tripod. I'm going through changes. I'm going through changes. I'm going through changes. It's not working. It's not working too well. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going through changes. Why is every camera mount I have just ass? Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going through changes. Yeah, I'm going through changes. I'm going through changes. I'm going through changes. Yeah, I'm going through changes. How's everybody doing? I'm going through change. And I'm going through change. And I'm going through change. How you guys doing? And I'm going for change. And I'm going for change. I'll be back. I apologize for the delay, guys. I'm trying to get a better camera mount for you. guys. On the little mount. Trying to get you guys mounted up somewhere decent. It's never easy trying to figure out camera stuff. You know. Alright, we're gonna have to just go here. You guys are just gonna be sitting on the rail. Right. Ah, why is all my camera mounts happy? Hello. No. Stop. Seems like all my cheap Amazon crap is just shitting the bed on me. Alright, this is not working well, so I'm gonna have to change some things. Whee! Sorry for the holy shit. Why does good camera equipment have to be so... I just want to film shit in my garage. Why does this have to be so damn difficult? I very much apologize, everybody, because you shouldn't have to be having this crap happen. My camera said it worked for a while, but then it just started crapping the bed. Come on. Sorry. Actually, me on my arm mount is kind of fast. But I'm some all thread, a threaded rod, power hammer. That is gonna be full. I need to weld some of this threaded rod to the body, so. Now, so I got a bunch of crap in the way. So a great tip, try just whatever you cut all thread and you got spurs and you want to put a little bevel on them. Whatever belt stand you have, get your electric drill, just in there, then just hold, drill at an angle. Nice bevel. So you don't want that much of it. You also don't want to grab too much because that'll burn up your hand for friction. So if you guys are wondering, each of these things are just partially tack welded to the main body of the square tubing. You guys can see in there, the power ram will go in, but right now they're too tight in, so I'm just welding the all thread. So I'm going to take you guys off the thing. So these are just tack welded on, but these aren't staying. These are just here to keep stuff in line. So I was able to drill a hole through both sides so they're in line. Now if you look in there, it's kind of, I gotta get a light. Give me a second. I know everything's a mess. I'm working on organizing. That's part of this thing. But you can see the plug welds. So I welded from back here. And once I get both sides, they each have their own separate bolts, just because trying to cut something inside of square tubing, I don't have the rule for it. So these are all just tack welded to keep them lined up and in place, and that's why you can see the hole is drilled through. So gonna flip these around because we put a nice bevel on here. We're gonna do the put a nice bevel, so that'll make it better for the plug weld. And yes, I know welding galvy is not good for you. I'm only gonna do a few at a time and then let the shop air out. How you doing, Dingus? Sorry I didn't email you. I got busy with stuff. But yeah. And if any of you guys know about a good monopod, because my previous camera setup for doing lives, it has like these ball joints and stuff, but it's like a cheap Amazon thing, and now they're worn out and they just like, if you look later when the stream is turned into a VOD, you'll see like at the start of the stream, like the phone like looks like its neck got snapped or like it ragdolled. But that wasn't fun. I am not a professional welder or fabricator. I'm just a guy that makes stuff in his garage that wants to do cool stuff. So one of my favorite things is these little welding magnets. These help you make sure stuff is fairly square. The only issue with them is because you got metal in the shop, they're always covered in little bits of metal dust. So you want to try to get that stuff off. Use a brush or whatever. So this is 3/8 all thread. This is a 3/8 hole, but the yeah, thing is, I live streamed like once on Twitch. I did it under a different like handle of stuff. The biggest thing is like trying to be consistent. Like right now I have more traction on YouTube, and also every time I've been doing a live, I've been getting more and more subscribers, which is helping, because like right now I'm working on editing how to build that forge as a bolt together forge, and another video on how to add the forced air, because this is also a forced air forge. But like one of the things I want to do eventually is I want to be able to stream on Twitch, and I want to build a floating blacksmith shop, because I live on like a small pond. You know how dope that would be if I could build like you know. Yeah, I've been working on trying to get better at the editing. Like it's still a learning curve. Like luckily, you know, YouTube. But I got an older gaming laptop. I'm eventually going to try to upgrade to a newer one. Like, I would like to get a PC, like a heavy-duty PC, because I want to do cinematic stuff, but I have time to do stuff. I don't know who Lamar Jackson is. But yeah, that bolt together forge video, that one's gonna be good, because I'm learning from, like, if you ever look up Chris Bogdan, he's the but he's the one that has like the goofy shorts on like electrical stuff. But he got popular because he had all his weird sense of humor and of course other stuff. But I'm putting my own form of humor because, you know, I did get addicted to the internet and other stuff. So it's gonna be, you need to get the light again. So you can see we have it. Come on, focus. Right in there. And we got the magnet square on here. So I'm going to put you guys back on the camera mount, and then I'm going to plug weld it. This is one of the benefits of using a stick welder, is that you can reach into weird places. I'm just moving this extension cord because I need to charge my phone, which is you guys. You guys are the phone. But I appreciate you guys for joining my live. And you guys should let me know what anime weapons or other stuff you might want me to forge in the future, because I'm going to be... I might not look it, but I am a weeb. Not too much of a weeb. I haven't really watched any anime in a while because I got work and this stuff, but like... Are you for real, Mrs. Jackson? Alright. Are you for real, Mrs. Jackson? Luckily, my respirator fits underneath my helmet. Even though I'm not going to be doing too much welding on this all thread that's galby or zinc plated. I'm just trying to be extra careful. And I got ventilation. Not the best, but better than nothing. Yeah, that's why I'm working on this power hammer, because it's technically not the most. I could have made like already design like normal power hammers, but I really wanted to take I wanted to be a little bit prideful, like Escanor, and I wanted to make my own. So I'm trying to combine a couple of designs just because I want to try. Someone's got to try. But you can see the crappy plug weld, and out that burnt. It's not it's not loose, so that's good. We just got to do the other one. If you guys are wondering why I had to use the light, when you're looking through the welding helmet before it turns on, obviously it'll be this is what you guys are seeing, and it can get pretty it can be hard to see like shadows and stuff, because like you can see that right now, but if I pull it back, I gotta move some of the drill stuff away. But you can see how I still so much of this. I don't got any brushes that fit in here. You can barely see that. See, when it's sticking out fully, you can see it, but I'm doing a plug weld with it just barely. It's like slightly it's like that. Like you can barely see that through the camera and the shadows. So trying to look for that through this. That's why I have the light, so that way I can actually see what the hell I'm looking for. Actually, I'm going to try to do that. So you guys are going to be looking through here. So you're trying to find it, see how dark those shadows become. And this is before stuff, but see how you can see that dot right now? So then once I start the weld, I'll have the electrode in that little crevice, and then it'll just stay there. But yeah, I don't know the exact model of this welding helmet, but when you start welding at home, you really want a auto darkening helmet that has, you see how it says test? That lets you know if you, no thing is, I haven't done the aluminum welding before. I want to learn that stuff. I want to learn different types of welding, but there's limitations because of my pacemaker. Like, if I don't know if it's TIG or certain welds, but they like pulse, like the actual electrode like pulses a lot, and that could like send a electromagnetic, think of like electric magnet or like radio signal. When electricity is flowing, it does give off electromagnetic field. It could trick my defibrillator in my chest with that pulsing, and it could think that that's a really fast, irregular heartbeat, and then it could shock you. Luckily, because I'm below like 180 amps, I'll be good. I don't really use that much. I'm just grabbing the water real quick. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm so very grateful that I can use most regular welding stuff. It just, when I get into like I'm trying to make this power hammer because I got a show in September that I'm going to, and I want to be able to make some small like hammers and hatchets and stuff, and also I want to make some like low layer Damascus knives because I want to bring some fancy stuff, but I just need the oomph that I don't have because I might be a big guy, but I haven't been able to like. There's only so much you can swing a hammer, and so long and so hard. So having a power hammer, because I don't got like friends or people that I could hire that could like, or like family members. Like I wish I had a brother. Imagine if there was like, if I had a twin brother, obviously life would be different. But freaking friend twins could have been awesome. Like even if they didn't get on gear, they would be like awesome freaking blacksmith apprentices because literally they just have like chaotic energy. And then if you're like working on like a giant bloom of wrought iron or steel, like they'd be like, "Well, I'm gonna do it better than you." Like, yeah. But and as someone who is a heart patient, I do not recommend, unless you do like extensive genetic testing and even like live testing. Don't ever do any form of roids, because especially when you're young. Because people can say, "Oh, bad genetics" or whatever. I used to be a fat kid growing up. I don't have a visible six pack, but I managed to, with like intermittent fasting and other stuff, and just like spacing out my meals and just not being a bitch and putting down the fork, I managed to like maintain, it fluctuates between 5 and 10 pounds up or down, but I stay within a range. But I do eventually want to, like, as my defibrillator is healing up, I want to get back in the gym lifting weights because your muscles are both an engine and a gas tank. That's why they say like glycogen or carb loading. Like if you ever play any form of sports, your coach will say, "We got to eat a bunch of pasta and carb load," because your muscles, they actually have glycogen, which is the muscular. It's hard when it comes to math, but when it comes to science and remembering how stuff works, I just love that stuff. That's why I'm not giving up on like trying to engineer stuff, because I'm Tony Stank. I'm the retarded brother of Tony Stark that can't do math, but I can build shit. But glycogen, it's not glucose, it's a different thing. So glucose is a sugar that would go into your blood after you eat something and your body breaks it down. Glycogen is the stored form. So that's like the actual food that goes into your body is like unrefined petrol, and then glucose is like kind of like pure petrol, but then I'm trying to get better at the analogy, but essentially glucose is the fuel for the muscle before the body starts to force burning fat. So working on strength, so like just say if you start off doing like, because when I first started in my freshman year at college, that was the year after my heart thing. And even though I worked at a farm, I was a skinny kid. Like my arms and shoulders, like obviously I'm still not huge. Like obviously it depends on the angle. Like proportionally, I kind of have like a Attack on Titan freaking, weird ass build. Like I got big surface area, but like, not the best stuff. But when it comes to like maintaining strength and weight and stuff, like lifting weights or doing like slow like push-ups and other stuff, that makes your muscles really focus on the strength part, but you also need calories for strength. And you still want to work on cardio, of course. I got to get better with that, but. And yes, I'm tired. I'm I got sweat just dripping off me. Because it's so damn humid. God dang it, Bobby's 102 fat bitches in a sauna fighting over a brisket. Alright, so this magnet right here is a little bit too big for that, so what I gotta do is just loosen the nuts on that. Yeah, I think if you're still on here, I'm working on Yeah, the vape stuff. Like, are you vaping like nicotine or like, you know, the Zon or something? Or both? Because even though some things can say they're better than other things, it's like, you know, Peaky Blinders? They smoke fake cigarettes, so there's actually a company that's, yeah. I mean, if you're sticking with the, yeah, if you're like, yeah, in Canada where it's legal for you, I mean, it's legal here in Mass, but I don't really do any of that. I haven't done it in a while, but try to stick with like bud and stuff, just because, you know, bring it down your tolerance. But with the nicotine stuff, if, you know, you want to slowly taper down. But I'm going to be trying to get some of those Peaky Blinder cigarettes. It's a prop cigarette. There's a company that makes herbal cigarettes. They've been like making herbal cigarettes for like hundreds of years. I want to get those because I want to make Osima's knuckle knives. So I want to dress in character. Like, I have the Tony Stark beard, but if I shave the mustache and other stuff, and I get my hair, you know, with the headband, I want to try to recreate some of the, like a scene or two. So he, like, you know, he's always smoking. But all right, so back to this. So this is why I can't have nice things, because I have a cheap ass camera mount. Actually, I'm just going to take you guys off the camera mount real quick. So this one's welded. Oh, never mind. This one's welded. This one's not welded yet, but I took the bolt and nut off, but you can see they don't quite have room. But luckily, because I made the shivs in here, I just dripped a bunch of sweat on my phone. We are just going to push it flush. We don't want to go past flush because we don't want these washers to fall out, because that'll be a pain to get them back in. So now we can take our magnet. We just gotta wipe that stuff off. The main thing is trying to make it so that it doesn't look like it's pointing down or to the side. The only issue is the way magnets work. They love to go after, like big bitches. Magnets will have stronger attractions to big booty Latinas. I mean, big pieces of metal. So this magnet, you know, it mostly wants to suck to this side, this big nut. It wants to suck the big nut. Oh no. So I gotta space it out so it doesn't do that. So the 3/8 isn't quite the thickness to be fully inside this channel, but I can use one flat side to keep it square. I'm just gonna make sure everything's nice and square. And I just gotta Alright, we got that. Don't know if you guys can see it, but My French Canadian nose is freaking just guides all the freaking sweat. So I gotta get my respirator on and that stuff going. Thank you, Dingus. Yeah, Dingus, whatever you're gonna be streaming, like obviously on like Twitch, it's easy, a hell of a lot easier to stream video games. Like trying to, like obviously right now I'm just like live streaming me making stuff, but it's like not a tutorial like how to. Like trying to do my videos and like how to stuff, that stuff's not easy because you're like trying to figure out like how can I do this. All right, that side looking good. Gotta turn around. Yeah, stick with like not gaming's gonna be a lot easier to stream, and like I'm still trying to learn how to do stuff with like I'm trying to learn how to clip stuff with Streamlab. Like if you saw like my short, like on the experiment belt 1x30 belt sander experiment, Streamlab, like you can put like clips of stuff from your stream. But that's the thing, like make sure you have your OBS recording. That's one of the things I like about streaming on YouTube is that once the stream is over, the VOD, you can either make it public or private, but it stays on YouTube. And I've been gaining more views and stuff. Like obviously I get views and stuff on the lives, but then once the VOD is fully downloaded, that does its thing too. So that's why like Penguins or Charlie. Hey guys, it's Charlie here. He streams both on Twitch and YouTube. Because Twitch, if you have a VOD, it doesn't, you don't get monetized for that. Like I'm not monetized yet. I'm working on trying to get 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and come on, there we go. But I gotta cut. Two more of these. Yeah, because like I learned like about queso, like I don't watch anybody on Twitch really. I just see like the clips through TikTok and stuff. But that's one thing where you having clips. So like some of my previous live streams, I did some goofy, stupid shit. I gotta still try to clip that and just put that out there. But gotta cut a couple more of these. I got DaVinci Resolve. My gaming PC just barely runs it. I mean, my gaming laptop, not a PC, because of my unique situation where I got extra time to be able to do some stuff. Like I still work, but I have some time and spare time to be on my laptop. So literally I'm able to like edit in between stuff. So I want to try to upgrade and get like a better gaming laptop I do want to get a gaming PC because I want to learn like simulations and stuff. Because I want to do like eventually more cinematic stuff. But DaVinci Resolve is nice. I forgot what I was using before. I was using some like free thing that was way too, not too difficult, but like because DaVinci Resolve has been out and like even though there are updates with a lot of this stuff, even some like the DaVinci Resolve 18 or 19, that stuff works. A lot of the same stuff is there. So like if I don't remember how to do something, I'll just like Google on YouTube like how to speed ramp, or which I don't really do much of, but like how to like speed things up. So like if something needs to be super speed or slow it down. I also found out like if you're trying to reverse something, like if you throw something down and then you want it to look like you force grab it, you just have to do like change speed to like negative 100 and it goes backwards. And you can change the speed. The bolt forward video is going to be funny because I have like really stupid sense of humor. Oh, a cool thing is Forge scale, which is this grayscale stuff. Even though it's technically a form of rust, it's still magnetic. We're going to be selling some OnlyFans. Now I'm just trying to get some more ventilation. Hey there, silly boy with me here. Alright, so one of the things I realized was instead of welding the rest of the all thread, I need to cut the tacks that are holding these in place. I got one on each side, but I realized, even though I tried my best to have them the same, when you're looking into the thread rod, one of them's off a little bit, so I might still be able to fix that. Still learning as I go. Yeah, don't let the curse of my driving record get to you. First thing I First accident I was in, well, the only one I was in, I got coffee, got distracted, tried to grab the coffee from falling over, and I hit a fence and broke my grandmother's car. Was not fun. So my KD ratio of fences and cars, I got one fence and one car. Not proud of it. See, these two I welded. These ones are pretty nice aligned, but these two, it's a little bit off. So before I try to weld the rest of these, I'm going to cut these tack welds and see if I can take these, slide these off. If I can, great. If I can't, then this is going to be, it's a frustration, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, so I'm cutting the tack welds. I had to use my left hand I admit I am not left-handed, so when that kind of bucked a little bit, I apologize, Grandma. There's a little bit of shit in my underwear. No, I didn't shit my pants, but I used to be terrified of using those. They're still very dangerous. They have the potential to be very dangerous, but just like any other tool, like you have to understand, like, hey, this is what you're dealing with. This is the power. This is what could happen, and then you respect it, and know that even if you are being safe, there's always a chance of it having issues. But I just need to get a chisel because I was able to cut the tack welds, but the I wasn't able to get too close to where I wanted to. Yup, murder. Yup, murder. Yup. I'm sorry, Mickey. You can't sue your wife for being goofy. She was fucking goofy! Warrior. Perry the platypus? Perry, not my cock and ball torture. It's not working. My cock and ball torture is not working. I'll have the brain disease, Jedi. Oh God, sorry. I make any of you just hate me for being fucking stupid, but and this is why I'm glad I stopped, because actually it's because it's sticking. My balls are sticking, Jenny. It's hot and now. Come on. They don't call me Skips for nothing. I don't walk. There we go. And yes, I did label each side. Dingus, you better not have crashed your truck when I was being fucking stupid. Mr. Andy Dufresne. Yeah. I can smell you. I'm here creeping around. There we go. I'm gonna go a little bit deaf real quick. Huh? I need my hearing protection. Come on. Do it. Come on. Well. Yeah, these ones are the good ones, but they're still kind of out like a little bit. These ones are kind of like that, so that's why I should have stopped. That was a good save. We'll still be able to use that, we just got to drill the holes bigger. Oh, that's why. The plug well broke, that's fine. Weld on the outside. It's getting there, slowly but surely. Just airing the place out. I need to air the place out. I know my humidor's broken. It's just airsoft. Yeah, I was able to weld these bolts, but because they're zinc coated, I didn't want to inhale the fumes, so I had to air the place out. We're going on a trip. Sorry about that, guys. I hit the wrong button, but gonna take a break from the shop because it's humid as a sauna with whatever in it. So I got me some chilled ice and some wine. Big old jug of wine. Got me jug of fucking wine, mate. There's Bob. Oh, I gotta switch Wi-Fi, guys. Give this a second. Alright, good. Let me guys show you. So sometimes you can get stuff for free. This is off the side of the road. Now it's weather. It's been outside for over a year. I do wish we could have brought it inside, but this is like the gaudiest, like, king queen's chair. But we're just gonna be chilling. We are being chilling. Actually, this way, you guys can just chill by the water. Yeah, I don't want to inhale those fumes. That's why, even though with my respirator on, it's still, I can kind of smell them through the thing. I'm gonna lower you guys a little bit. There we go. It may not look like it, but I'm wearing a thong. I'm not, it's just my underwear. I got a bad fucking wedgie. I'm gonna undo that off camera. That's what I hate about the humid weather. Turns your underwear to thongs. Get over here. But we're just gonna chill. It is always cooler by the water because the water is always a different wind pattern. So during the day, the land from the sunlight is hotter. Yeah, I'm very grateful that my grandmother let me move in after my mom died. So that's the shop. That's, you know, thank my grandma for that. She's still around. We're working on trying to get the power hammer done this week, because mostly once we get that ram adjustable and not all cattywampus and stuff, and it's actually able to work properly, the rest of the power hammer, it's still going to be a pain, but that way there's steps that we got to follow, and then, or I got to follow, and as I get those steps done, we closer and closer to goal, because I got the fence. Yeah, I would have gotten a beer earlier, but I was just working on stuff before the stream, so. I tried Pacifico for the first time. I don't like, I'm more of like a lighter beer, like a lager person. Because like I've tried IPAs and stuff, and like, to me, I also, my freshman year in college, my dorm was right above the dryer vents. and we didn't have AC, so if I wanted fresh air, I'd have to open the window, but then I just get blasted by freaking chemicals. Probably the reason why my sinuses are messed up, because I can't smell stuff properly sometimes. Like, I'll open a thing of milk, and to me it'll smell off or bad, but it's not. Like, I have my dad or grandmother check it. But I don't like the taste of Pine Sol or cleaning products. Some of the IPAs, they're just too much. I don't mind the taste of grapefruit, especially the grapefruit method. No. um, but I don't like too much of the pine flavor. Too much of like when you have like an IPA or an Indian Pale Ale, it's less citrus, more of the actual like bitter peel mixed with other stuff. I understand how other people like it. I just don't like it. But I like lighter beers. Like, I love Hefeweiss beer. If you ever have Weinstefaner, in 2040, it's that German brewery is going to have been brewing beer for 1,000 years. But I like Blue Moon. I like Corona. I used to not like Corona, but I kind of like, because of the za flit. You know, it kind of has that skunky za taste, flavor, whatever. But yeah, on this pond, one of my goals. So that's just a deck that's makeshift from a thing, but I want to make like a floating blacksmith shop. So I want to like, yeah, I'm just not a hops guy. Unless we're talking Judy. Nah, but yeah, for me, too much hops, I'm not a fan of. And I'm not like those people that like shit on other people's, like, oh, like, you like that beer, you fucking, like, no, people like what they like. Here's a weird thing. I haven't had like the pure fruit. I've only had like in cakes and other stuff. I don't mind durian. I don't know if you've ever been near any products that has real durian in it. That's the fruit that's like is banned in like hotels and stuff across like the Philippines and like parts of Asia, just because of how like smelly it is. So like everyone has different tastes and other stuff. Like for me, I got a sweet tooth. I like sweeter wines. I don't like beer to be too sweet. Like, it's okay if it's a little bit sweet, but like here in America, they got a beer that's it's like 8 or 10%, but it's like brewed with corn syrup, and it is like the nastiest freaking thing. Like, I tried it, and it literally had like, one of the reasons why, like, even if you don't like, just say you don't want to drink soda, but you want to have something, but you don't want to drink alcohol. If you get non-alcoholic beer or non-alcoholic wine and other stuff, that stuff's going to still be better than sodas, just because of it doesn't have the high fructose corn syrup. It doesn't, especially depending on where you get it from. Like, if you get like, I like Heineken Absolute Zero, because when I was leading up to the surgery and even after the surgery, I really wanted a beer, but because alcohol messes with healing pretty strong wounds and the risk of bleeding, I had that, and that I never had Heineken before, but I had the Heineken Zero, and that stuff was pretty good. So especially like, I don't know how bad like the stuff is in Canada for like glyphosate and all that other pesticide stuff, but like other countries like Germany and Holland and other stuff, or Italy, like they have less of that stuff, hopefully, or probably. Yeah, I love the Heineken Zero. I was lucky enough years ago, like back in 2014, I was able to go to yeah, I want to look into that. Also for kosher too. Like kosher Coca-Cola, it just has cane sugar. It doesn't have high fructose corn syrup. And one of my classes in college, we had to learn about like the food industry and other stuff. So we watched like Food Inc., which is a documentary which like explains all the BS about the food industry and stuff. If you're in the know-how, because we have monocultures, like, in America and other countries, you'll grow corn or wheat for thousands of square miles, like millions and billions of tons of this stuff. If you're in the know-how, you can get like a couple thousand tons, like a ton of corn, dried corn, for like cents on the dollar. If you're in the upper rich, whatever. So that's why they switched to high fructose corn syrup, because it's cheaper. Because normally in America, how you would get cane sugar, it used to be, regular sugar for not cane sugar, but regular sugar. So like fructose is like multiple chains of glucose, and then normal table sugar is like sucrose, or I gotta look up the actual thing. But we used to get sugar from cane sugar, but then there's the beet sugar, which is what America regularly had, and that's so we had sugar beets, and that's how America would have its sugar for drinks and other stuff. But then someone said, "Hey, high fructose corn syrup, it's like 3 times sweeter than normal sugar. It's also addictive." They probably just found that out later on, but they didn't care. And it's cheap, because if you can get corn cents on the dollar for a ton, getting fructose corn syrup. And when I was younger, I remember, because they have regulations and stuff in Italy, I ate all the bread and all the stuff, and I never felt tired. Yeah. It'd be funny if like just say like Coca-Cola like accidentally had a shipment from Colombia. Like, Colombia must have like original recipe Coke. Could you imagine, like, they actually have like a shipment of original recipe Coca-Cola with the coca leaf in it? And just imagine, like, thousands of people drink it. Some people are all wired and like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then some people, like, they drink it and they feel normal and they're like, oh, I got ADHD. I bet you want to meet Sam Hyde, because he's a goofy fucker. He's like if Shrek was in human form but funny. No, because I think he's like 6'6" or 6'7". I'm like 6'5". But yeah, you just control what you can control. Like, you know, that's one of the things. Like when I had my heart thing, I could tell any of you in the chat if you're. I can tell you're a lesbian, because if you see this vagina on my chest, you might get thirsty. I want to do like stand-up comedy, but yeah, like it's one of those things where like being a little crazy or like not normal, because Normal is just a contract of like what people want, like there to be control of. Like I used to be introverted growing up, so like I didn't like. Yeah, the whole iDubbbz, Filthy Frank, and all that stuff. Like I grew up watching those guys. Like, it's very interesting. Like, people will already be a certain way once they get more money before they ever get the money because they are, it's part of who they are. But then when they get that fame or whatever, and then they have this, hey, I don't have to do this shitty 9 to 5 anymore. And then that's why, like, Braille skateboards, the leader of that, like the main guy, like he got into freaking Scientology and then it just ruined the whole channel. It's like, not just religious stuff, but like when people get to a certain level of money and power and stuff, it's very easy to sway one way or another. And it's like, that's why when I eventually make it, and I have to say it because I grew up not having any confidence. Like, it is true, you'd rather be a little bit delusional, but like in a positive way where it's like, hey, I want to be king of the pirates, or hey, I want to do this and that. It's like, I don't want to be like Mr. Beast. I want to still like make really cool shit. Like my goal is basically, my inspiration is like Alex Steele, where like he was a young kid that was already blacksmithing and stuff, and he wasn't a kid, like he was still like, I forgot how many years ago it was, but he very easily, when he started getting YouTube money, could have been an idiot and just bought sports cars or bought this or bought that, but he served in his country's military, so like he had that sense of discipline and like, okay, how do you plan ahead? How do you think ahead? And like, I want to be able to have like a fabrication shop. Like I still want to do blacksmithing stuff, but I want to have fabrication capabilities. But I also want to get into cinematic stuff because I love movies. I love Corridor Crew and Corridor Digital, and especially where I'm bad at math when it comes to like figuring out how to make stuff or having that imagination. Like, hey, what if I tried doing this or that? Like before the summer's up, I'm gonna be doing a video. I'm gonna forge Jason's machete, and I'm gonna do like a cinematic thing because I have like a cheap leather jacket, and I got like a mask and stuff. I look just like Jason when I'm dressed up in it. But I want to do like some cinematic stuff. Like I want to try to like do like a silicone cast of my head so I can make like my own, like try to make like a fake head. So like when he finishes me off, because I got that treadle hammer, and that would be pretty cool where like I make the machete, or I make him the machete, and he promises not to do whatever, and then I make it, and then he like takes me out brutally. That would be kind of like a cool cinematic like end to something. Yeah, and I won't forget about people. But it's still one of those things, like when you make it, like you can't, it applies not just to like for people when they make it in Hollywood or make huge money or whatever, but it's also like in general, like you can't make everyone happy. That's like the biggest thing. You can't make everyone happy. You can't solve everyone's issues. The only thing you can focus on is yourself and your direct friends and family. And then after that, once those are settled and you're secure, that's when you can do extra stuff. Because like a healthy human can donate blood thousands of times or hundreds of thousands, like thousands of times in a lifetime. and they could save thousands of people. Or you could just get all your blood taken in one go and die, and for someone or whatever, a group or whatever, and then you can't help anyone else after that. So it's one of those things where I heard a duck, but I think there's shit in my pants. I couldn't show. It was flying. We had a egret or whatever it was. They're cool because they got such a big wingspan. When they do like a low fly over the water, they kind of look like a what's the they look like a B-2 bomber. Like they just have such big wings and they're able to just like glide super slow. No, it wasn't a plane. It was like a heron or an egret bird, but it has like such a big wingspan when it's gliding like on top of the water, like flying just above the water. It's able to go like really slow, like so it kind of looks like a B-2 bomber or like those other like high altitude but like stealth bomber things. There's some really cool birds that like they don't move very fast, but because they're so big, like they just look really cool. No, we're probably one of the few broke poor people on this pond or lake, whatever the hell it is. We do not have floating money on the water. I do eventually want to get one, but I mean, the only water sports I do in the pond is like, you know, when I'm swimming in the water and I pee in it, but like that's pretty much it. I don't know if Bjorn is saying I look like Dave Grohl or he might be French Canadian because I do have that. Yeah, we got a couple of people on this water that have the stand-up paddle boards. I really want to build like a floating blacksmith shop. That would be really cool because, like, you know, like those docks that have like the plastic 55-gallon drum barrels underneath, and like you're able to, you know, have an anchor, and that way you can jump off that in deeper water. If I just make like one of those, or like, you know, a couple of those together, and then, you know, have like a little roof just so like if it was raining or whatever, I would probably only do like a coal forge just because I don't want to like risk uh, a gas forge falling over, or I'd have to figure that out. Like we don't have choppy water unless people are like just zooming around on like the speedboats and the jet skis. And yes, across the pond there is a liquor store. Yeah, it is a safety hazard. That would that's one of the things I'd have to figure stuff out. Like it might honestly it would have to be like a miniature houseboat or something to be stable enough. Like I wouldn't have a power hammer or anything on the boat. I'd just be have a small anvil and just like forging little stuff. Like it'd be a cool thing to stream on Twitch. It's like, oh, you know, forging little stuff, and then whether I'd have like an electric motor or whatever to make it move. But literally across the pond, like across the pond, and then like a little bit down a road is a liquor store, so that would be kind of cool. I mean, yeah, how, you know, Dan, how the hell did you set the pond on fire? It's like skills. Tonight I'm waiting here for you ever long. One of the things I hate about crushed ice is I'll get like when I get like a coffee for iced coffee, we have like the bigger straws, and I'll be drinking it, and then I'll get like Frosty the Snowman's kidney stone, like a small piece of ice to go through the straw. I'm like, happy birthday! Bjorn, are you Swedish? Obviously, that's a very Swedish name. And freaking PewDiePie named his son Björn because of Björn Ironside. Yeah, it's some people, depending on like what food truck or food thing that they have, like they can be pretty like it can be a pretty chill job. But food is still like a. I lived in a different town with my mom before. I found out during COVID times, like my mom had a couple of breakdowns and she had to go get some psychiatric help, and found out that my mom was born broken. She had a really bad bipolar where if she took the meds, it would help. She'd be able to sleep well. But with the COVID lockdowns, and also we were taking care of my niece at the time, which another reason why I want to get successful, because I eventually want to reconnect my niece, because my older half sister, we don't really talk about her, because like Lord Voldemort, like she's one of the main reasons why my mom passed. But my mom was in and out, and like she said she was on the med, she was fine, but I temporarily moved in with my grandmother. But she was alone for quite a few years, and I wanted to move in because I missed her and stuff. So when used to live in an apartment, so I used to do bow making. I still want to get back into that, but I want to get more into making like the tools and stuff. But yeah, it's not fun losing a mom or a family member to suicide. Yeah, because she was a good woman. My mom, she helped me, like, she always loved camping and fishing. I'm not, like, I only like sea fishing at sea because you can eat the fish. Like, you probably could eat fish in certain ponds or whatever, but I never cared to, like, fish. But that was her thing, and it also sucked because, like, you know, she was like my. I always thought my mom was a really strong person. So, like, when the symbol of who you think is strength, like, imagine if all my from My Hero Academia like committed suicide. Like, imagine everyone like sees that. That was kind of like, to me, it was just very devastating. Always wave hi to the people in the boats, but yeah, it's not. Wasn't a good time. I had to drop some classes when I was in university. I was able to like get a couple classes done, and then for like the first 3 months after my mom passed, me and my dad, we're mediators in our own self-medication. You know, alcohol and God's burning bush in gummy form. But and I was just getting over like my heart thing because like that changed my life because literally just before the start of my senior year of high school, I had tachycardia, which is a very dangerous irregular heart rhythm. Like my heart rate was like 235 beats per minute, and I had like almost no blood pressure because my heart was just like twitching, and that took a while to get over. And then like as I was like finally like not having anxiety or panic attacks or other stuff, and like enjoying life, and then COVID happened, and then Mom went the way she went, and of course doing the blacksmithing stuff kind of helped with that stuff because like I would make knives for some of my dad's coworkers and I would feel just dead inside. I'd have like no emotion or I'd just be pissed or whatever, but like focusing on something. And I found out in North Carolina and other places down south in America, they actually have like this like I forgot the name of it, but they actually did like psychological studies on people with PTSD and also like traumatic brain injuries and like the problem solving and thinking ahead of steps of what you need to do next for like blacksmithing and bladesmithing and all these other things. It actually helps rewire the brain so whatever PTSD from war or other stuff, it actually helps. So that was one of the things that kind of helped me get through. Yeah, so like there actually is scientific evidence that shows that like making stuff, like trying to learn how to make stuff and like plan ahead, like because your brain has to focus, so you're focusing on something that is keeping you from thinking about the bad stuff, but also you're using your brain in a way where you're trying to imagine what's the next steps, like what do I move here or what do I do there, and it's one of those things where like it's not just a distraction, it actually mends. Because alcohol, any form of other addictive substance, I had my issues with that for a little while, like nothing crazy, but you know when you'd have to get messed up every night, or emotionally, like if you get pissed off or really sad and then you drink, that's not good. Like I've wanted to give up on like pursuing stuff, like I should have like waited until after college to like try to like do business stuff. I've been failing and just pouring money into it, but now that I'm finally done with college and I got a stable full-time job, like I want to be able to grow the blacksmithing channel and business of selling stuff, because there's too much cheap shit and I want to make good stuff. I also want to inspire people to make stuff, and I want to teach people like, hey, you can make this stuff, you can do this. I also want to like sprinkle in my creativeness with like I want to do cinematic stuff, like make anime weapons, but like learn some CGI so that the last part of the video is I get the weapon taken from me, and me dressed up as that character fights someone, and it actually looks like a live action that's good instead of just whatever crappy cosplay. Yeah. I know. But one of the best things that you can do for yourself is because I was always introverted. You know, I'm definitely probably on the spectrum, and I'm not just saying that because like, oh, everyone's autistic today. It's like, no, I diagnosed with ADHD when I was little. They gave me meds that turned me into a zombie, and then my parents like, yeah, we're not doing that. And usually they go hand in hand. Because like when it comes to like comedy stuff, because I've been practicing, that intuition where you already have something pre-planned or like already experienced, and then something you see something and instantly it pops into your mind like what you should say. I've made some when I worked in retail. I made some people laugh with that. But the main thing is you control your life. The only things that you can control, because you're not going to change the world. All the rich people, like, I love it how like with like One Piece, Oda's like explaining like how the real world works through his manga and show. Like you have the world governments, which is like, you know, countries, you know, each government or each state. Like in America, we have states, and you know, European countries. You know, you have like provinces or states that are part of the country, but they all have their own different weird little laws. They all think they're doing the right thing, but each one, some are better, some are worse. That's like that level. And then you have the world government, which is everything, all those things together. But then you have the Gorsei, which are the uber rich that, you know, can just say, screw you, I do whatever I want. You don't worry about those levels. You just worry about you. Because then once you work on you, focus on the things you can control, take care of the people that you do have, and just stay you. Because I was always a kid that was never physically bullied because I was a chunkier but still bigger than everyone else. But I was verbally bullied, and like I could just hear people talking shit about me behind my back, but I was too shy to like confront people about it. But you you know, I've always been observant and watching people. It's like, yeah, you just focus on you. Some people are gonna have a problem with that, and that's when you have to stand up for yourself and either get away from those people or, you know, fix some shit. But like they say when you're on an airplane, if the cabin loses pressure or oxygen, you put on your mask first before you go and try to help someone else. Because if you don't have oxygen, if you can't function, how the hell else are you going to help someone? Another reason why I like for like relationships, like I haven't really yeah, like my parents took me off of those meds. And like I wasn't too bad in school. But I did find out, like especially as an adult, like especially after having like the heart thing and then losing my mom, like that traumatic stuff made it way worse. But the because like your baseline, like you don't make dopamine in a proper way. Like sometimes when I do stuff, or a lot of the times when I do stuff, I don't feel accomplished. Like I just get it done, and then I'll be back and get some more wine. I gotta tilt the chair for my. Next time there's less ice, so it actually tastes good. But yeah, with the ADHD meds, like I wish I could find some that aren't stimulants. Because I tried the Adderall. The first dose it worked, and then the rest just, my anxiety was just, I couldn't get stuff done. But having an open mindset, that's one of the things that's helped me get through everything, where it's literally, doesn't matter if you're only getting 0.01% better every day, as long as you're making a step forward, you're making progress. Like the guys that did Repo, the game, they were in an article I read about them like being interviewed. Like, yeah, they came off of a failure of a game or a game that didn't make as much money as they were hoping, and they had the idea for this game, and then they're like, let's just fail as quickly as possible. So they're just like, okay, like we're just gonna make it work. It'll probably fail, but we want to not take years to get this done. And it became one of the best. I don't think you can post links in the chat. I don't know if I have that blocked or not, but the kind of what kind of links are they? Because I know you're not on Instagram much, but you could like message me on Instagram or just post it on your Instagram and I'll see it. PC. You got the little duckies. Oh, they're growing. These are the ones that are like teenage ducks. There's that little island over there. That island's cool. Alright. Yeah, the thing is, I still want to have stuff in the chat also because it's like, I'm kind of standoffish because I've been, I'm a very nice person, a little bit innocent and gullible in the sense of that, and so I've been taken advantage of. I had kind of recently gotten over like a person I thought was a friend, but they were using me, and they're also using religion against me, so it was like, that was not a fun time. But that's why I'll still talk about stuff, but I don't want to have like too much information with like socials or other stuff. Yeah, it is nice out. It was just too hot in the shop, Like I don't have the forge going, but even with the ventilation on, there's not a lot of air moving, and it's just so humid that it's just really warm in there. Yeah, thing is, I'll take a look at it after the stream because yeah, that's one of those things where it's like I want to be able to. The wine's kicking in. Need some water. The first thing wine was like very watered down because I had a lot of like melted ice. But yeah, when I do get famous, which I still hate saying that because like I have comments because I got really cool ideas. That's another thing with like ADHD. Like I don't know if like all people with ADHD or like different parts of the spectrum or whatever have very vivid imaginations. Like like in Iron Man, Tony Stark has a 3D hologram. I have like a 3D. When I want to make something or I want to picture a scene, I can actually see the movie in 3D space, or I can picture stuff in my head. Don't ask me how to do math. That's why when I worked retail, I think the NCR. That's a really shitty brand of cash register. It would always like glitch out. Like obviously, the gas station I worked for was like a big chain in America that has the world's biggest chain in Europe. So, but I can imagine stuff perfectly. But like it's very easy to get overwhelmed because like you can see. Oop, wait, I think he's gonna. I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in. That guy, I don't know if that's a blue heron or a negrid, but when they fly low to the water, they literally look like a, low flying like B-2 bomber or something. Just like a big, slow, like cool thing. But the yeah, I tried doing engineering, but math I was always super slow at. And then the heart thing, I barely had, graduated my senior year because it turns out when you're athletic and then you almost die, or you technically, they had to do 8 minutes of CPR when I went into cardiac arrest after like the third defib. But I was a little bit slow with that. Like, have you ever seen the movie 50 First Dates? I love that movie. I wasn't like 10-second Steve, but like I had like really bad like short-term memory like the first year and a half because like I'd be talking with you, I would still know who you are, who I am, what day it is, but I think of like if your conversation and my conversation were like text messages or like these messages, and then they just got ripped out, and I'm like, what what were we talking about? Like I still know who you are, who I am, but because like literally, I should have been a vegetable. Like, besides the fact that I was still conscious for like at least half an hour, having like almost no blood pressure because my heart was just like, twitching at 235 beats per minute. That's another thing. Like, I still feel like shit, like talking about it to people, but you have to talk about it because if you don't get it out and you don't like, I've been to therapy with stuff, and biggest thing with therapy is like some of them can help you figure out stuff, but it's just talking with people, talking about it. Like I love like watching like the Unsubscribed podcast, and like I see like clips from like the Fat Electrician, but like a lot of those guys from World War II, still a lot of them still had shell shock, and like they didn't call it PTSD, but because it took them weeks to sail from Iwo Jima or Europe back to America, they were all able to talk about their stuff and other things. So it's like getting over that stuff, talking about it, that's what really helps. That's one of the things, like I want to be able to help people, like you're not going to change the world, but like just helping some people, and especially when you get to the position when you can help way more people, like I want to be able to do that. Yeah, I gotta do that more often because I have trouble sleeping. Not with like um, PTSD or anything like that. It's just I found out that one of the side effects, because I do take heart meds. I can't like drink too much alcohol, like, or any of the fun stuff. Like I can't be crazy with that stuff because it does affect blood pressure. But it turns out I was wondering for the longest time, like when I started college back in 2018, my freshman year, I was like, I had to stay up a few nights to work on stuff, and I just started my meds, my heart meds. Luckily, I only take one med, and it blocks a certain, the adrenaline that functions the heart, which is why I want to get a second opinion in the future, because like they don't know what happened. I had heart failure, it reversed itself, but I still had the tachycardia, where it's like if I sprint or if I got to carry someone or pick up something really heavy or do, I can't play basketball or do a lot of sprint, stop, go stuff. I'm mostly normal besides the brain damage, but um, they're like, yeah, we don't know. Like, I'm still gonna be able to do most of the stuff. Like, luckily, the modern technology with defibrillators, I can weld as shitty as I do, but at least I can do that. And because I went to Boston Children's and I wasn't able to see it too much, but my dad, because he had to visit me, there's a lot of kids that are like 5 and they look depressed as hell because they can't, they're probably home looking out the window, looking at kids in the neighborhood playing, and they're in their house or apartment and they can't play because their heart's messed up, and if they go and do that, then they're going to be back in the hospital again. So I'm very grateful that someone always has it worse. That's like one of the things where it's like someone always has it worse, but they're also survived. They're still here. They're still doing stuff. Like that's why like I'm still here for a reason, because you know even though they say like God doesn't give like burdens to his soldiers that he doesn't think that they can handle, something like that. That's why I'm trying to like work on making stuff that's videos and content that, especially when I'm able to get better with like learning visual effects and like other stuff. I'm kind of religious. I basically like I'm more in like the like I kind of like the idea of stuff, but I'm not gonna. The ideas and religions are good, but people take advantage of it. Like I thought about it when after I woke up, I was like, you know how easy it would be for me to just say like, oh, God told me this, and start some bullshit religion. I was too fucked up and tired, but also I have like my own morals where it's like, hey, I'm not gonna do that. If I'm gonna start a religion, it's just for tax purposes, so I can like literally like one of the things I want to do. I want to do like a Warhammer 40K like religion maker thing where it's like literally you just don't have to pay certain taxes on like the properties and other stuff, and it would be like a maker space. So it would be like a weird like, and that's the thing, like I didn't see anything. Like literally when last time I got defib, I blacked out. I was conscious afterwards, but they had to put me in a chemical coma to stabilize me and stuff after I came back. But when my heart thing was happening, like my coworkers would talk with me. I knew something was wrong, and then like I looked down and my pec was like jiggling, like my titty was jiggling. And I'm like, can someone check my pulse? And my coworker said, yeah, your pulse feels fine, but you're cold to the touch. And I sweat like a fucking pig or a horse or whatever the fuck it is. Sorry for the swearing, but I have the settings on stream. And my mom swore like a sailor. But the moment my coworker said, you're cold to the touch, that's when my life flashed before my eyes, because I knew I was dying. Because like I paid, when I was in Boy Scouts, I paid attention to medical stuff, because I thought I was having shock from heat stroke or heat exhaustion, because it was like 90 degrees out on the farm, there was no wind, no nothing. But that wasn't the case. I just felt super tired, like shoveling and then instantly tired. But yeah, that would be one of the things I would want to do is because in America, as long as you have 6 participating members, the IRS cannot say what is and isn't a religion. And you have a lot of tax stuff with that. Like, I don't know if it's property tax along with other things, but I would just have it so that I would have like, there would be some weird, not weird, but like basic, like don't be a piece of shit, don't do whatever. But then, you want to learn how to make stuff or do stuff, like that would be the thing. And yes, we would make money selling stuff that we make, and that way the government would get taxes and they would be happy, because that's the only thing that they really care about, is the system really cares about, is making sure that they get their money. So if you make money and you're able to give them money, they want you to be around because you're making them money. So that's why like the Amish have had issues and stuff before, because they don't really, like, they do sell stuff, but they don't have like certain things. Neighbors are mowing the lawn because we're supposed to have rain tonight, so they're probably just trying to get that done before. Yeah, I'll get that checked out because now the good thing, so I was very grateful. So when I lived with my mom in the different town than what I'm in now, the local pharmacy, like it's a really small town, like literally we lived right above a diner, right across from the diner was like the fire department and police station. Um, one of the ladies that worked at the pharmacy, I can't remember her name, but she was a teenager in the 80s, or she was like 18 in the 80s, and you know, you know what 80s had? Original Coca-Cola, but for the nose. And she was having heart issues. She was having like really fast heart rate and just felt horrible. And the EMTs were like, "Oh, you probably did too much snow or whatever." But she actually had heart issues, like her heart was like beating too fast or regularly. And for her, it wasn't a genetic thing, but sometimes you can have an overactive nerve. So like think of, so your heart is a muscle that squeezes with electricity. You have bundles of nerves in your heart that are like spark plugs or coil packs. So like in your car, the spark plug is what sends a spark to the ignition, but the coil pack is what sends that charge to the thing, to the spark plug. Hers, she would have ones that were overactive and they would fire off at random times, and that would give her a tachycardia. And she would have it for a while, like a couple hours, and like her heart rate would be like 200 or some crazy number, but her blood pressure would be like nothing. That's why she would feel tired and crappy, because like you're in the but she was able to get it ablated. So they have a catheter. It goes into one of the veins, whether it goes through your leg or your wrist, and it goes into your heart. And they're able to, same form of catheterization when they cut you open and it burns the wound with electricity. It zaps those bundle of nerves and it stops them from being overactive, because your heart has enough other coil packs / spark plugs to make it function. So that could be a thing with you. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just someone that's been through shit, and also I like science and medical stuff. I'm just gonna bring you guys closer because I don't have my well, most of her dingus. I don't have my good microphone on me. This way you can actually hear me. So you might need to get something ablated. I was genetically tested for there it is. Yeah, so with her, she had it done and it helped. Now, eventually, as she got older, it started kicking up again, a different bundle of nerves, had to get ablated, and then eventually she still had issues and she had to take like a medication. And that's the thing, like it's all we get what we get. We manage it the best we can. Like for me, like if the the world ever ended or shit hit the fan, zombie apocalypse or whatever, my heart medication is very rare compared to the normal blood pressure slash beta blockers. So it's like, even if you could raid like a pharmacy in a zombie apocalypse, you couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because like it has to be specially ordered. They don't just have a bunch of it there. But you know, think about the negative stuff. You think about what you have now and just be like, hey, we got this. Like before I had my heart thing, you know, I was planning on going in the military to pay for college. But also like I was in Boy Scouts. I was lazy. I was a chunky fat kid. I didn't really try that hard with stuff. But I still liked the camping and other stuff. I wouldn't have mind been doing like bushcrafting stuff or like living out in the you know, in Alaska, living off the land. I can't do that because I need my heart meds. Yes, I have a defibrillator where, you know, if my heart rate got too high, it would be able to shock it and bring it back down. But even then, like my last defibrillator that I had lasted 8 years. Supposedly my new one will last like 10 to 15 years. I got to keep the old one. I am going to be on a different channel making like the Iron Man, you know, like in Iron Man 1, Penny gives Penny, or what the hell her name is, Tony's friend slash girlfriend, proof Tony has a heart. I want to make one of those. But I want to do on a personal channel where I have just like me making stupid shit with 3D printers, or I gotta figure it out. Maybe do some stand-up comedy on there or like sketches. But I want to try to make a stand for that, and maybe see if I could power something with a defibrillator. You know, can I power a DUT pack with my old defibrillator? I wouldn't actually do a DUT pack because I don't do that stuff. But because I grew up watching Mythbusters, and yes, prove Tony stank and twerk. Yeah, that's what I'll put. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to kick in. I'm always retarded, but it helps. But yeah, definitely still get your heart checked out, because I didn't know I had symptoms, or like I kind of had symptoms, but like basically, you know, like if you fall asleep and like just before you fall asleep, it feels like you're falling, and then you like wake up like, what the fuck? That's like a natural thing. I would have something similar like that, where I'd wake up out of breath, but it only happened like once, like every 2 months. So it was like a weird, like, it wasn't consistent enough, because I I was like 8 when I watched 1,000 Ways to Die. I was way too young to watch that, but that kept me from doing really stupid shit as a kid. It made me realize, like, hey, no, you're not invincible. You can go like that. Even if you're not an asshole, you can still just have a random bullet because someone decided to shoot it up in the air and it goes like a mile and a half away. But like when you have your heart thing, do you feel like tired? Like when it kicks in, does it feel tired, or does it just feel like palpitations? Because before I ever had my heart thing, the only time I ever had like a palpitation was like after I had as a kid, like I didn't really, or in high school, I never really drank energy drinks much. I would just have like a Red Bull or a Monster like once every couple of months, just because, you know, it's crack, it tastes good. But, and I wouldn't even like go and do stuff. I would just drink it like a soda. I was like, oh, this is nice. Like the first time I ever had a Red Bull, I was like 10, I was going on a road trip to like Gloucester with my dad because he was camping out there for work. I fell asleep after I finished like the last sip of Red Bull. I literally just fell asleep. That was probably a sign that I had ADHD because you can just fall asleep after having caffeine. That's another thing. You gotta with the nicotine. Um, Even if you're doing Zins or vape, non-tobacco stuff, nicotine itself still constricts your blood vessels. It actually constricts the capillaries and stuff. Don't cold turkey that. You got to figure out the heart thing first, because if you try going cold turkey or trying to quit really hard and then you have that stuff, that can aggravate the tachycardia or the palpitations worse. So you got to be careful with that. Also, for me, for whatever reason, I've probably because of night shift, I get bad indigestion. But sometimes when I eat stuff, I get like a bubble, and it doesn't feel like a heart attack. It doesn't hurt, but like I'll get a bubble or indigestion, and like I'm guessing like my stomach is like pushing on my diaphragm or something, because makes me feel like my heart rate goes up a little bit, but then when I burp it goes down. That could also be a thing where like you could have like a indigestion that can help, because like if your stomach, your diaphragm is here, like this is right where my solar plexus is, that's where your diaphragm, your stomach is like right here. If you got indigestion or gas or whatever, and it expands and it pushes on the diaphragm, your heart's right above the diaphragm, and your heart could like do some weird stuff from that. And it depends on what your caffeine tolerance is. Like I got to be careful, but because I started working night shift when I was doing retail at a gas station or a petrol station, if you're Europe or other state places, I used to be able to have a couple cups of coffee, like regular coffee, and then well, it doesn't matter how skinny or big you are. If your stomach just, indigestion or other stuff. But definitely get that checked out, because especially if you feel the palpitations kick in, like if it's randomly or at a specific time, you want to make sure you give them all the details. And then, that way they have less and less variables to try to figure out. Yeah, and that's the thing with the caffeine is, like, how many milligrams do you think you have in a day? Because I try to not have too much in a day, especially towards the nighttime, but I still always end up doing it. The maximum I'll have in a day is maybe like, I don't know exactly, but it's over 400. But in the morning, I'll have like a Black Rifle coffee, 300 milligram. I used to not be able to have those, but then because I worked at the gas station and I had coffee and other stuff. Hmm. Does it only happen when you're resting, or are you exercising? Because there's a thing I learned that I had when, because I had a few. Okay, so it's not predictable. Yeah. Yeah, if it's random, you hear a duck? No? Oh, I farted. Yeah, if it's random, tell them that. I found out one of the coworkers, because I work security. So one of my mom's friends, she lives in a different state. She's a doctor, and she's like, Dan, because my mom, she actually, another thing with my mom's death, why it hurt so much is she survived a pretty aggressive form of breast cancer. Like she caught it like, where it was like the size of like a decent marble, and it only metastasized to like one, like, I don't know if it went to her lymph nodes on their armpits, but her friend in Jersey, um, she said, "Hey, I'm a doctor, but I work with other doctors. They think they're gods, because they do all this and all that. They're not." And that's part of the thing with like, "Oh, you'll be fine," or "Oh, it's just anxiety," or whatever. It's like your body's telling you something is fucked up. Get it checked out, because the body does not want to die. Even though modern times we have more suicides than people did before and all this stuff, the body tells you wants to live, like instinctively. Think of like if you like watch Vinland Saga, Thorfinn. He was all depressed or whatever, and then the boss guy drew his sword and he's like protecting himself. Like the body, he's like the body does not want to die. And also them not being cardiologists, yeah. And that's the thing, like everyone has their specialization, because like there's only so much that you can learn. Like there's only so much time that you can dedicate. Even if you have a photographic memory, you know, you have to have the actual experience. And experience is learning through mistakes and other stuff. So like, but definitely go talk to people. I know healthcare is different in Canada than down here, but whatever you go do, like you stand up for yourself. Don't like make a scene, but like just you stand up for yourself. You say, hey, yeah, I know it's free, but nothing is. Yeah, that's the thing. Very slow. I remember like one of my favorite shows was Peaky Blinders, and they also have like good or similar healthcare. At the time when the show was being made, they had similar healthcare in the UK, and one of the actors, he was like having issues, like complaining about like feeling like breathless or other stuff. And they said, "Oh no, you're fine. Like go back home." And they didn't like do any testing. And then he had he died from a massive heart attack. It's like he clearly had some stuff that you should have investigated more into. And he was, I only knew him from that one show, but it's like, you know, but nothing in this world is free. Everything costs something, whether it's time, pain, money. Yeah, that's a pretty damn long wait. Yeah. Minions, we're going to steal the moon. My wife. Yeah, Borat was a crazy movie. You ever seen the movie Brothers Grimsby? I saw that movie with my mom, and we had no clue how fucked up that was gonna be. We saw Sausage Party, the animated thing that looks like it's kids movies, but it's written and directed by like Seth Rogen. That one was messed up, but Brothers Grimsby, like my mom had a sense of humor and other shit, but yeah, dude, the fucking elephant scene. Uh, Sausage Party, like if you've seen Brothers Grimsby, Sausage Party would look like more of like an actual kids show or movie, and then Brothers Grimsby would be like, I'm surprised it was able to get like a rated R and not like a rated M XX only. Like it was just my freshman year, like my current like friend group, like they were obsessed with the Game of Thrones. I didn't really care about it, and we had like a communal like the freshman dorms would have like a big ass screen TV in like the game room slash kitchen area, and I don't know. Did your parents see like the rape scene or the weird sex scene? I just know there was like one or both of those things. Because I remember like a Targaryen or the Dragon Lady got like canoodled when she didn't want it. Yeah, all the scenes. Yeah, it's weird because my camera, it looks like it's still like light, like bright daytime, but like it's more dark. Like that's proper, but for a reason, I don't know why but yeah, definitely get yourself checked out for the palpitations, especially if you have like recorded like accurate readings of like, hey, my heart rate was like 175 and I'm just laying down doing nothing. It's like it should not do that. That is not a normal thing. I actually found out one of my coworkers I work with, because I work at like security at a place. He actually would have the opposite. His heart would just stop, and then he would like wake up. So like, and it didn't happen to him until he was like older, like mid or late 30s, early 40s, and that's the thing. Like, there's so much random. Like, I like how like Neil deGrasse Tyson explains like the probability of us, like you and me, like we're existing right now. The probability of us just existing is like ridiculous. And then now that there's 8 billion people, or more, give or less, there's a certain amount of probability that people are going to have something. You know, there's 1 in a million, 1 in 100 million, 1 in a billion, 1 in whatever. And the thing with science that I learned is that unless it really hurts people, like Ebola, bubonic plague, polio, other stuff, or really helps you, you know, penicillin. Um, if you're wondering how like insulin is made, when I was in biology, um, they actually genetically modified like a bacteria to produce insulin, because before they used to get insulin from like either dead humans or like cows or something. The first use of insulin for a type 1 patient was like late 1800s, early 1900s, because like this kid was just dying, like he was just starving to death, because like his cells, insulin opens up the cell. It's like the, you know, it's like the key to the door. And if you don't make insulin because you are type 1, or because you eat too much throughout your life, and like your body, just like with any drug or alcohol, gets it used to high levels of insulin, your cells build a tolerance. It's like, okay, you gotta make it stronger. But the bacteria, they genetically modified bacteria to make insulin. But and I just lost my thought. But definitely get yourself checked out. Oh, the probability stuff and all that things. Uh, if it doesn't really help you or really hurt you, it's not studied. Like my situation, yeah, I'll see. I gotta end the stream, but thank you for watching. Be safe, and definitely get yourself checked out for your palpitations and stuff. But thank you guys for joining the stream. See you in the next one.